All right, class. Let's try to finish this up. So we'll pick up from where we left off before. We have one half, the right half of one of our gripper fingers, kind of completed around the cup. So what we're going to end up doing is we'll finish up this design, adding the rounds and all the details in there, and then we'll mirror it so that we create the left side of it, and then we'll see if there's anything else that we might need to do, and then I think you'll be in a good spot to kind of move forward with your own design. You'll have a good idea. Remember that we started with this sketch. Okay, and again, you don't have to use this design. I literally sketched this in a couple of minutes. And there may be other designs, better designs. I'll leave that up to you. I just kind of wanted to give you a starting point that you can see where I started from. Again, the dimensions are kind of fuzzy here, so things change. Some things didn't change, so the diameter of the cup is not going to change. The height of the cup is not going to change, but the other things that change, the 10 millimeter thickness, the length of the gripper, all that is up to you. All right, so let's carry on then. So we have our design, and I guess the first thing that we need to do here to finish this up is we need to add some rounds and chamfers and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and, because I don't need to see the gripper body and the cup anymore. Now remember that we did this was 8 millimeters thick in all locations, and what is the thickness over here? This thickness is let's try that again, is 16 millimeters thick across there. All right, so I'm just going to go up to the fillet command, and I'm going to do the inside fillets, okay, because I know they're all going to be the same. And I think that's it, and I'm going to do a 5 millimeter fillet. Now I do want to turn on the shunt to make sure it doesn't interfere with it up there, and yeah, it doesn't interfere. The curve doesn't get into that area, so we're good there. So that's 5. Now if I want to have a uniform radius so that the 8 millimeters stays constant through this, then that means the radius on the outer bends has got to be 5 millimeter radius plus 8 millimeter thickness gives us a 13. So we'll do 13 there. All right, that looks pretty good. Now I'm also going to put a radius in here and a radius in here. And I can just kind of stretch this so that it looks good. Maybe we'll do a 5 also. All right. All right. And then all right, so that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. All right. And then I'm going to put a small round along the outer edge here. This is just good. What I'm kind of designing this for is for 3D printing. And 3D printing, you really should have rounds in there. So I'm going to do a radius of 2. Nothing too drastic, right? We're just trying to knock off the edge. All right, now, last thing down here. Now, if we look at the cup, let's bring the cup in. You could imagine that this edge, this corner right here of our gripper, if it's not a good smooth corner or edge, it might cause the cup to kind of get not have a good contact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a chamfer on this edge and this edge and actually on this edge. All the edges that interact with the cup, I'm just going to put a little chamfer on it. So here's the chamfer. I'm going to pick this edge and this edge and this edge and this edge. And maybe let's look at a 2 millimeter chamfer. Yeah, that's a little bit big. So I think I'll just do a let's go back and edit that, and I'll do a 1 millimeter, not 1 meter, 1 millimeter chamfer. All right, so just an ever so slight knocking down of that edge, but that's going to give us a good transition or contact surface for the cup. All right, and we can see that in there. All right, so that all looks good. All right, so I'm happy with that. Now let's move on to how we're going to hold the gripper, or how we're going to fasten the gripper finger to the gripper body, and that's going to be through that with an M4 hex socket cap screw. M4 means that it's a metric thread, 4 millimeters in diameter. You can find this hole is 4 millimeters, so that's why I know that. So what we're going to do is we're going to sketch, and actually I'm going to sketch on this surface right there. You can see that I picked the surface on the gripper, right? And I'm going to project the hole, right? So I just projected the hole. Now let me turn off the gripper body, and you can see that I have the hole right there. That's all I need to do, right? The hole is, or the projection is already constrained or fixed in place. So we don't need to add any dimensions or anything like that. So that's good to go. We'll just finish that sketch, and then we're just going to cut that hole through that. And then we go, okay. All right, so there's our hole. Now, if you remember back here with our body, the fasteners are going to come from this side, right? They're going to go through this. So this is going to be a clearance hole, and the hole that I just created has got to be tapped. So I need to go up here to thread, and I'm going to click on this hole, and you can see right here, it automatic, because I designed that hole with, or it was a 4 millimeter diameter, so it automatically selects an M4 by 0.7. That's the pitch, or the distance between threads, 0.7 millimeters for the thread. So yeah, all right. So that's that. Now we're kind of ready at this point for mirroring this. Okay. So let's go ahead and do the mirror. I'll turn on this just because it's not going to really affect anything. When we do the mirror, what we're going to be asked to provide is a mirror plane. That's the plane around which you're going to reflect the bodies, right? And that mirror plane is going to be from our origin, and it's going to be that plane right there, because that bisects in the YZ parallel to the YZ plane, or in fact it is the YZ plane. The two gripper fingers. So we can go to create and mirror, and then what pattern type are we going to use? Well, we want to actually, no, let me back up here. I missed a step. Let's go back here. All right, so backing up, what we just did was we created this gripper, the right gripper finger, let's call it. But it's still a body, right? We don't want it to be a body. We actually want it to be a component, okay? So when I'm done with all this, I'm going to go over to body one, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say create component from body. And there we go. All right. So now we can see component one. I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to call this gripper dash right. All right. Now we're ready to mirror it. All right. So let's go back to create and mirror. And now what pattern type is, we're going to grab a component. And the component that we're going to mirror is that feature. Our mirror plane, so I select the mirror plane, is going to be, as I said, this plane right there. And we can see what we've created, and we say OK. And then notice right here, it says gripper right mirror. So here I'm going to click in this, and I'm going to call it gripper dash left. All right. All right. Now we're almost done. There's a couple more things. I think it might be good to go ahead and make these look a little bit different. So I'm going to right click on gripper right, and I'm going to go to physical material, and since I'm 3D printing this, I'm going to make it ABS plastic. So I'll put the ABS plastic up there, and then I will attach the ABS plastic to the two grippers. And you know what, I know that the cup is also ABS plastic because we 3D printed those, so we can go like that. Now I don't want them all white, so I'm going to go right click and I'm going to go to appearance. And now I'm going to go to plastic, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to translucent, and I'm going to pick the color. Now I want the gripper fingers to be yellow, and I want the cup to be blue. So I'll grab those in there, and then I'll go and I'll attach yellow to the gripper fingers, and I'll attach blue to the cup, and we're all good. All right. Last but not least, let's get that that fastener in there. So we're going to bring that in from McMaster-Carr, but before I do that, I need to know how long that needs to be. All right. So I'm going to turn off one of these grippers, and I'm going to measure this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure, I want to know how long it is from this surface to this surface right there. And you can see that that is 14 millimeters long. So I don't want to have a fastener that's longer than 14 millimeters. Okay. So now we can go, let's bring in that gripper back again, and we can go to insert McMaster-Carr component. Now this is very easy. We're going to choose a screw and bolt. We're going to choose a socket head screw. We're going to choose a fully threaded socket head screw. And here we want to choose a metric fastener, and we want an M4 fastener. All right. And this shows us the what we have at our disposal. We're going to go look at that M4 by 0.7. That's exactly the thread that we need. This is a black oxide class 12.9 alloy steel. And look, we have a choice between a 14 millimeter thread, length thread, and a 12 millimeter. Well, 14 is going to be too long, right? Actually, it's right at the edge, but I think 12 is fine. So I'll choose 12 right here. And then to bring in the model, we're going to go to product detail right here. And then we're going to scroll down to where it says the model. And I'm going to choose a step file. And then I'm going to say save. And it's going to bring it in right there. All right, so now I'm going to move it a little bit out of there. I'm going to rotate it around so that it's kind of in the correct orientation, 90 degrees. And then I'm going to say OK. All right. Now I want to insert this in there, and remember, to do that we have to use the joints. So we'll go up to joint. Let's capture the position here. We'll go up to joint, and we're going to choose the circle right there. Making sure to not get the thread, we want to get the circle, right? And then we want to match that up with the circle right here. And what kind of joint do we want? We want a rigid joint, all right? So that's what we have. We say OK, and we have a rigid joint right there. All right. Now, we could then create a mirror image of that, right? Or you could insert another fastener, but we can also create an insert. We can insert another component. I'll choose that. Mirror plane is the same mirror plane. And we'll say OK. And there it is. Now, it doesn't have a joint. The joints weren't mirrored with it. So what we have to do is do an as-built joint. And I'll choose this and this. And it's a rigid joint. So there we go. All right. So I chose the gripper jaw and the fastener. All right. So there we go. Now, if we want to complete the rest of the joints, of course, I won't bore you with that detail, but we want to create a joint. Let me turn this off and turn this off. We want a joint between the fastener, the jaw surface here, and the finger surface there, right? So that's the other joints on both sides that we want to create. All right. Now, are we done here? Let's have a look. Looks like we're we're in pretty good shape. I could go over here and I could click on this fastener, and I should call this a hex socket head. And then this is going to be hex socket head, right? And I think that's just about it. Now, is there more that you can do? Yeah, I said that you might, well, you got to attach the joints. You're going to provide drawings for this. You also will, may opt to animate this, right? That's extra credit. I'll leave that up to you. That would be a longer video if I was going to do that. All right, but good luck. Make sure if you have any questions, you contact me, reach out. I'm, more than able to help. You can even share your drawing, your model files with me, so I can do a markup if you need any help with that. All right, good luck. Let me know how it's going. Bye.